Hey everybody, this is Dr. Rocks from the Pounding Rocks Truck Shop, and we are working on Double Dare XL today, the body swapped and supercharged 1992 Nissan Pathfinder. And I've got a little bit of work done on this thing. After some imagination, some effery, and some miracles, we now have the 16-inch lowboy pusher fan operating. And I did it for less than 50 bucks, minus the cost of the fan, which I don't even remember what I paid for it, but I know I got a good deal on the fan. I think it was like 75 bucks for the fan because it was out of somebody's hot rod that wasn't using it anymore. They had upgraded to something else. So I don't like running power into the cab. As much as I can avoid running power into the cab, I'd rather control grounds in the cab. So at least if a wire pops off, it's just a ground. It's not gonna arc, or I try to do that as minimal as possible. So right here in this switch position right here is, and here we go. This thing moves quite a bit of air. I mean, look at this wire dancing right here. This thing is nice. It really moves the air in the shop pretty good. So it's going to be a manual fan. Basically, I'm not doing the thermostatic fan, just cost and the fact that I really don't want to have to buy more parts for this thing. So, and I'm not hardwiring it to the ignition either, because there may be times where I don't need it. Let's say I'm going down the highway and it's running, I can just shut it off and just use regular air coming through the radiator to cool everything off. But if I'm sitting at a light and I want to blow some heat out of the hood, this is definitely a way to do it. And I haven't even seen how much air comes out of the hood with the fan running. I haven't even closed the hood to see what that part of it is like. But yeah, it's loud. But the whole truck is kind of loud, so it's going to be pretty noticeable. But it's definitely pulling air. I can feel it. You can feel like a vacuum on this side. You can feel the air getting pulled through, and you definitely feel like it just blowing across the engine on this side. So I think that's pretty cool. What I ended up doing was I'm jumpering power off of the resettable breaker over here, using the side that I have the fusible links on. And I'm not going to make this all pretty. I'm just getting it running right now. But I have the power coming off of this resettable breaker for 150 amp resettable breaker. Power is coming off of that and going to this expandable fuse box here. So it's getting direct feed right there. I have two 15 amp fuses in there, but I have space for 4 more fuses, so I can add 4 more circuits to this thing, like roof lighting and horns or whatever and whatnot. So I've got room to expand, so I mounted that here, and then here's the relay for the fan. As I said, I got to make this wiring a little prettier. I just wanted to get it running, and then as I figured out where everything was going to go, then I would work on beautifying it. But getting it running is the main focus right here. So, and the other thing that I did was that I just cut a O2 sensor and stretched the wiring about 1.5 feet. So the O2 sensor is in place. The Y pipe is over at a welding shop right now getting welded. It should be back, I'm thinking Monday or Wednesday, and in that area. I didn't put any pressure on the guy because I'm like, dude, this thing is so far from being a finished project. So just, I don't want to make this a priority where you're going to end up charging me more to move other projects out of the way. It's like, whenever you have time, just go ahead and do it, and don't worry about it. So it should be back later this week, and then I will connect the Y pipe, I will connect the O2 sensor, and then I will drag this thing out of the shop, far away from the shop, and I will give it a crank and see how much better it runs when it actually knows what's going on with the exhaust system. Because as it stands before this, it had no clue. It was just dumping fuel. You could see the fuel gauge just dropping like crazy. It just didn't know what to do. It's just doing what it does best. And also because the injectors are the larger injectors, the same amount of time that the computer would run the original 3.0 injectors puts more fuel in using the 3.3 supercharged injectors. So if it's running full bore on those injectors, it's no wonder that it's just plowing through fuel, and it's probably flooding out. That's probably why it runs the way it does. So with the O2 sensor in place, I'm hoping that it will back off the injectors a little bit and kind of slow that process down. And then I've got to work with this FRE right here, the throttle position sensor. That is an absolute mess. And everybody who says that they've swapped the guts from the 3.0 into the 3.3 throttle body, put your money where your mouth is, because all the information that's online is just like 5 things. It says remove throttle body, gut throttle body, put throttle body back on, blah, 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 change shaft. That's not how it works, because I have proof. This is a pile of parts from a 3.0 throttle body that I had laying around. There's said throttle body right here. This is gutted. And this was the biggest pain in the ASS to take apart. I can't picture that these people just did it as simple as they did. There was just so much stuff coming out with it to just get that shaft out. I don't know what these people were thinking. There's no way to do it without some kind of press. So the fact that they have minimal amount of information saying it's so easy, just change the throttle shaft and put the sensor on. All right, if it's that easy, let's see the write-up, because when I do things like this, everything's a write-up, because people might want to know how to do it. And if you don't, and if you ask me a million times, I'm just going to eventually be like, I already answered that. So give me a write-up on how you swap the electronics from the 3.0 to the 3.3 throttle body with pictures. Otherwise, I'm not buying it. I'm thinking that you're just running a 3.3 throttle body or TPS sensor just like all the rest of us are. Because if the information was out there, we would all be doing it, and I'm just not buying it. So anyways, give this channel a like, a subscribe, leave me a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. And that's one more thing off the list that I can check off. The fan is done. So I'll see you guys soon. See ya.